Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jaya Madhuraya.
Tato Jaya Mudiraye.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, text number 33. Pitapi anusruchitan jayoditam.
Pritapi Anushrutya Dhanjayoditam.
Nasan yodunam bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Nasam Yudunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Ekanta bhaktya bhagavati adhokshaje.
Ekanta bhaktya Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Nivesetata manopararama samsrite.
Nivesitato Paranama Samsrite.
That's a hard word to say, isn't it?
It's several words to say.
Vitapi anusruchidan jaya yoditam.
Pritapi Anushrutya Dhanjayoditam.
Nasham yodinam bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Nasam Yadunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Ekanta bhaktya bhagavati adhokshaje.
Ekanta bhakta Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Nivesitatma pararama samsrite.
Nivesitatma Paranam Samsrite.
Vitapi anusruchidan jaya yoditam.
Pritapi Anushrutya Dhanjayoditam.
Nasham yadunam bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Nasam Yadunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Ekanta bhaktya bhagavati adhokshaje.
Ekanta bhaktya Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Nivesitatma pararama samsrite.
Nivesitatmo Paranam Samsrite.
Let's see what to do first.
Who wants to go?
Let Steve do
What
it.
hero? What brave champ?
He knows how to do it good.
You are the senior tutor.
I'm the lamb to the
This feed is kind of way already.
Pritap. I'm not forgot it right. Pritapi Anushutta Dhananjaya Yoditam.
Pritapi Anushrutya Dhananjayoditam.
Nasham Yadunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Nasam Yadunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Ekanta bhaktya Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Ekanta bhaktya Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Nivesitatno parama samsrite.
Nivesitatmo Paranama Samsrite.
Pritapi Anushrutya Dhananjayoditam.
Pritapi Anushrutya Dhananjayoditam.
Nasham Yadunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Nasam Yadunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Ekanta bhaktya Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Ekanta bhaktya Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Nivesitatmo Paranama Samsrite.
Nivesitatmo Paranama Samsrite. Prithapi Anushrutya Dhananjayoditam.
Vitapi anusruchidan jaya yoditam.
Nasam Yadunam Bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Nasham yadunam bhagavad-gatim chatam.
Ekanta bhaktya Bhagavati adhokshaje.
Ekanta bhaktya bhagavati adhokshaje.
Nivesitatmo Paranama Samsrite.
Nivesitatmo paranam samsrite. Ladies?
Vithapyanushritya dhananjayoditam
Vidyayanushrutya dhananjayoditam
Nasham yadunam bhagavad gatim chatam
Nasam yadunam bhagavad gatim chatam
Ekanta bhaktya bhagavatya dhokshaje
Ekanta bhaktya bhagavati
Dokshaje
Niveshitatmo pararama samshrite
Niveshitatma pararama samshrite Prityapi anushrutya dhananjayoditam Nasam yadunam bhagavad gatim chatam Ekanta bhaktya bhagavati dokshaje Nivesitatmo pararam samshrite.
So you came even though you were sick. Mother Maharani's been taking medicine and fever and all that stuff, so we should pray to the deities to heal her. Like sometimes devotees take Charnamrita and get healed immediately, so Krishna can heal anything.
Oh, can I say something real quick about that? My son, I took him twice, once to Manipur. He was 2 and 4. I can't remember if it was the first or second time. There was an outbreak of chickenpox for all the children. And a cure for it, unbeknownst to us, is Charnamrita apparently. So one morning before it had happened, when one of the twins was, he would go up and pass out the Charnamrita, and he had his back turned to my son, he took the whole bowl and drank it down. He went over and he never got the chickenpox.
Yeah.
Until he did.
Yeah.
Hello! Super soul!
And I drink the NyQuil and stay drunk up.
Word for word. Prita, Kunti,
Kunti.
Api, also, Anushrutya, overhearing, Dhananjaya, Arjuna, Uhitam, uttered by, Nasham, end, Yadunam, of the Yadu dynasty. Bhagavat, of the personality of Godhead. Gatim, disappeared. Cha, also. Tam, all those. Ekanta, unalloyed. Bhaktya, devotion. Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Adhokshaje, transcendence. Niveshita Atma, with full attention. Upadarama, became released from. Samshrite, material existence. Translation. Kunti, after overhearing Arjuna's telling of the end of the Yadu dynasty and disappearance of Lord Krishna, engaged in the devotional service of the transcendental personality of Godhead with full attention, and thus gained release from the course of material existence. Please repeat. Kunti, after hearing Arjuna's telling of the end of the Yadu dynasty, and the disappearance of Lord Krishna, engaged in the devotional service of the transcendental personality of Godhead. Full attention. And thus gained release from the course of material existence. Purport by Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
The setting of the sun does not mean the end of the sun. It means the sun is out of our sight. Similarly, the end of the mission of the Lord on a particular planet or universe only means that he is out of our sight. The end of the Yadu dynasty also does not mean that it is annihilated. It disappears along with the Lord out of our sight. As Maharaj Yudhisthira decided to prepare to go back to Godhead, so also Kunti decided. And thus she fully engaged herself in the transcendental devotional service of the Lord, which guarantees one a passport for going back to Godhead after quitting this present material body. The beginning of the devotional service to the Lord is the beginning of spiritualizing the present body. And thus an unalloyed devotee of the Lord loses all material contact in the present body. The abode of the Lord is not a myth, as is thought by the unbelievers or ignorant people. But one cannot reach there by any material means like a Sputnik or a space capsule. But one can certainly reach there after leaving this present body, and one must prepare himself to go back to Godhead by practicing devotional service. That guarantees a passport for going back to Godhead, and Kunti adopted it. So, Om Tat Sat Om Gananta Miranda Shah Garanjana Salakaya Chakshi Sumilitami. So again, I'm hitting on all cylinders these days. I'm catching the verses that are really a setup for anybody that likes to talk about Krishna and his devotees. It's like these verses are just so perfect. So Queen Kunti,
is it the verses or the person?
Queen Kunti was the special personality, and I'm reading something about her. I read where the story by Brahmananda twice, when Srila Prabhupada got very ill, very ill. I mean, passing out, couldn't walk, couldn't get out of bed, ill. They didn't know what to do, so Prabhupada told them to read the prayers of Queen Kunti. That's what he wanted to hear. He wanted to hear the prayers of Queen Kunti. So that happened twice. Once in Vrindavan and once in New York. So in Vrindavan also Prabhupada said, please, just read the prayers of Queen Kunti. So this is I was thinking about, this is the rasa, the raga, the lila, the ruchi, the taste that spiritual life is offering. It's not a gross taste that it's any person can just pick up on in cheap fashion. It's one that has to be developed. It has to be very carefully scrutinized and studied, and we have to really look at this rasa, this lila of taste, ruchi, how one develops it. And Srila Prabhupada showed us by his example. By hearing the prayers of Queen Kunti, he became enlivened, and his physical body became healed, because he was so spiritually enlivened to hear from Queen Kunti and her prayers. So what is that taste? A pure devotee of the Lord, in a moment of the greatest distress, who did he turn to?
Krishna.
So you know that there's some special ruchi there, special taste there. What is that taste? So that's what we ask. And so when you read about Queen Kunti, you find out that just like Krishna's entourage, she has an eternal associate of the Lord in his entourage. So like we're reading now, we're at the point where Krishna's winding down, Krishna's left, everybody's saying, okay, that's our cue, time for us to leave. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hare Krishna. It's been fun. I'm glad we killed all of these evil people on the planet. And now we're going to go back to our eternal relationship with the Lord in the spiritual sky. See you again in another 50 billion trillion years. Right now I have to go to another universe that's got 50 gazillion million Brahmas. Heads on Brahma. So, this eternal roadshow, Leela, Prabhupada's awesome. It takes us a while to come to the proper, succinct analysis and awareness. But this whole Lord Chaitanya Leela, it's eternal. It's going on. We had, even the best of the karmis are still a karma, right? So even we may say, well, I was in the mode of goodness, I was a Jewish scholar, or I taught Sanskrit, or I read Bhagavad Gita, or whatever, We had some little thing going. Still, that was really basically, it's good in the material sense, but it's still, you're still a karmi. Right? We're not devotees. That's the point. Until Srila Prabhupada came, Lord Chaitanya's movement came, we still were karmis in any way you shake it. So we were, how did we become devotees? From this roadshow, this Leela. It came. And here we were, poised to do whatever. We can speculate this or that. But the point being is that somehow or another we became attracted. What did we become attracted to? The taste. So this taste is unlimited. There's no end to this taste. Just like as karmis, people develop some taste for some sense gratification. Like there used to be that song, I almost cut my hair the other day, but I didn't, and I wonder why. It's like, as a hippie, they love their long hair flowing in the wind, and they're free, and they're enjoying. And it's a taste. It's a taste they get, Well, the military man, he's fighting for his country, and the philanthropist, he's saving humanity, and they all get a taste. But the main drawback of the taste, the material taste, are they're all so temporary. They just don't last. It's like, building your house on sand, it just doesn't last. It's temporary, you know it. But still, because we're caught up in that taste, that's all we know, and that's what we try. So when one starts to develop the taste for Krishna consciousness, on the other hand, the taste becomes so very sweet that we can't go back to being a karma. You can't. You may want to out of habit. You may think, oh man, I just need to, this is too intense, this yoga process, or whatever you may think. But you won't be satisfied. You go out, you come back to the temple, and you smell the incense. You see the beauty of the deities. You see the devotees there, even though, when you left, you were so tired of looking at them, you couldn't stand it. When you come back, they're the most beautiful creatures you've ever seen. Why? Because it's the taste, the spiritual taste that's there, it's always there. It never goes away. But it has to be intensified. It has to be accumulated. Right? We can't just, beginning we come, Prabhupada said, a new person is like a drop of dew hanging on a blade of grass. It'll just slip right off any second. Right? Because they haven't developed a taste. So that's why it said, if you want to stay in this material world,
don't go.
Don't go down where? By the river Jabuna. And hear that Shama Sundar playing on his flute. And once you do, no way out. Because the taste is the taste. So Queen Kunti's taste was so intense. And the reason, I've speculated a little bit, but y'all can correct me if you think I'm off. I speculate a little bit that the reason Srila Prabhupada was so attracted to that during his stress, because she was always distressed. And so for her, she was always dependent on Krishna. And Krishna always saved her. So one may ask, why didn't Krishna save, Devaki's children? And Prabhupada talks about that some in that connection, that because Devaki had Vasudeva, right? Kunti had no one. Kunti had no one. She had no one. Everybody was gone. Mara Pandu was gone, her husband, and she was like they said like a sheep in the midst of wolves. So much danger she was under. So dangerous. But yet, she had only one shelter, and that was Krishna. So you can understand, she came to be part of that entourage, and she came with that taste, and that Leela, that's part of her eternal identity. That's her Leela in the spiritual world. You could go, I have no strict evidence, but you could get an inference that, she's in that maternal process. She's Krishna's aunt, right? But at the same time, she sees Krishna as God at the point of her prayers. She's not saying, she's not in the same mood as Mother Yasoda. Mother Yasoda never sees Krishna as God. Even when he opens his mouth and she sees all the universes, she's like, "Oh, stop it!" Don't eat dirt. So, it's like they never are able to see Krishna in that way. But Kunti saw Krishna as God. Even when she was praying to him, her prayers are unbelievably deep. And Prabhupada points out that in the feminine mood, one is much more able to develop their relationship with Krishna. Their hearts are easily drawn towards Krishna. So Kunti and her prayers are just pure love. That's why Srila Prabhupada, she's always distressed. She's always depending on Krishna. And Krishna's always saving her. So Prabhupada came. Now you cannot in any way not admit that Srila Prabhupada was under intense stress. Just unbelievable stress. An old body with heart attacks, coming with a few dollars and then getting off in New York City. I don't know a lot about New York City, but I know it's not a good place to wander the streets with a few dollars in your pocket. It's just not, right? It's like you're talking about dangerous. So Prabhupada was under so much pressure there, and he prayed also. So his prayers were there on the Jaladuta. But Kunti's prayers were there when she was thinking Krishna was leaving her in separation. She couldn't bear the separation of Krishna. Prabhupada was on the Jaladuta, and his prayers were there too. So he was revealing his eternal Leela with Krishna. I long to run through the pasturing grounds with you, fall on the ground and roll in ecstasy. There it is. Prabhupada Leela. He said, but now I've come to this place, most of the modes of ignorance and passion. But whatever you want me to do, make me dance. Make me dance. Make me dance. Oh Lord, make me dance. So this was his prayers, his moods. So we're understanding now, Prabhupada is teaching us by his example. We should churn this nectar of Queen Kunti. She is an exemplary person, but her rasa, her leela, there's a thing called shadow attachment. It's where, by being in that, close to that person, you feel some of their nectar. So undoubtedly, for us, a lot of us, by being close to Srila Prabhupada, we felt that. Sometimes by other devotees, like when a Maharaj is there that's really advanced, you're with him for a while, you start to feel that mood, you don't want him to leave. And Bhakti Raghu Maharaj is here, is like, don't go, just stay, what the heck. We work out fine here, you fit right in, So, you just feel this loving, this happiness that you get from their association. We were able to just churn that nectar, and it's not something you can put your finger on, you have to start to understand. It's very subtle. It's their taste, their ruchi, their rasa with Krishna is real and they're experiencing it and you're getting a little taste from it. So Kunti's mood was that every time someone attacked her, Krishna saved her, and she was attacked a bunch by cannibals. They tried to burn her house down, right? They poisoned their children. All these things, every time, somehow Krishna saved her. Even the assembly house, all these things, Krishna saved her. So, you see, her prayers to Krishna are, you've always saved me. You've always been there for me. When there's danger, you always were there. Now, there's still danger. Why are you leaving? Do you have to go? She knows he has to go. She knows. But the point is, we're learning how to live in this real civilized spiritual world. Until we met Srila Prabhupada, we're nothing but animals. Poodle or mutt dog, it doesn't matter. We're just animals. We have no understanding of real life. We're not civilized. We're not cultured. And when we meet Srila Prabhupada, now we're learning how to be real people. Real humans. And what is that? Our pleasure is to always hear the pastimes, the leela of the Lord. To always relish it, to find some relishment that is attractive to us, be it kirtan, prasadam distribution, preaching, writing, whatever, serving the deities. You see, because the deity comes in Kali Yuga, the deity, without the deity, there's no way we make it. Prabhupada introduced deity worship to the Malechas because he knew that we could not make it without the deity worship. Because to us, Krishna is too abstract. We have no experience of Krishna. Now, all of a sudden, we're looking at this lotus-eyed Lord, and not only looking, we're putting clothes on him. We're making garlands for him as we speak. We're putting jewelry on him. We're looking and we're praying to the Lord and we're talking. Just like today, I looked up and I could tell a little something that Radharani wasn't happy again. I thought, oh, Radharani's sick. I'm serious. You pray to Radharani every day. You think Radharani's not missing you? Why would she not? You're her eternal part and parcel. You're a spiritual being from her entourage. And now you're trying to come back in. Why would she not miss you? Of course she misses you. This is the mood of Krishna consciousness. How do we learn it? By Srila Prabhupada. Without Prabhupada, we don't know these things. We're not able to make that connection. So when we chant our prayers and say, you have saved me, we know it. Why? What did he give us? He gave us a system of pure connection with the Lord so that we can intimately become united with Krishna. We can be that person that Krishna reveals himself to us in our heart. He wants to so bad. That's the thing. Krishna wants to very much. And we sometimes think, this spiritual life, why is it so hard? Why is it? It's because we are not open to the simple paradigm that Krishna loves us. Krishna wants us to love him. So when we offer our prayers to Krishna, we should understand Krishna's hearing our prayers. When you say, Krishna, Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Guru Krishna, or Chaitanya is saying, bless you. Bless you. Take my mercy. Yes, I am the most munificent. Yes, I am. Not like Krishna has to pretend. Krishna, you're all attractive. Yes, I am. And I'm even more attractive than all attractive. I'm the most attractive. It's not ego. It's just, I'm here for you, and you're here for me. So let's connect again. How do we do that? Prabhupada system. If you just read Srimad Bhagavatam and don't just think it's just some Prabhupada said, myth. It's not a myth. It's real. Krishna's here, right now. And he's actually looking at us and thinking, what a fool, to be honest. He's thinking, he wants us to wake up and reconnect with him. There's something holding us back. That's the truth. You can say that any way you want. There is some reason, something holding us back. What is it? What is holding us back? I mean, it's just, there's something holding us back from the moment of reawakening our eternal rasa, getting that taste of Krishna. We have to develop the taste. So we gradually develop it. How do we do it? Every day Kirtan is here. Every day Prasadam is here. Every day Charnamrita is here. Every day flower garlands. Every day Srila Prabhupada worship. Every day chanting our rounds. Every day reading. Every day hearing. Every day. All of these things, you just keep doing it and doing it. And then someone, somewhere, right now, Krishna's revealing himself in their heart. Not now. It's happening on the planet. And it's going to happen more and more. It becomes like a more common thing. As this movement grows, and people have a chance to assimilate and go through the process of purifying our hearts and our minds, we start to be able, I mean, face it, somebody like, some of us, the struggle just to be in association of devotees was so great. So we started just from being almost like antagonistic towards God to coming to the point where we're trying to become a pure devotee. So it takes some time in there, right? But you see, that's why there's so many examples in the Bhagavatam of people who were able to make it, to encourage us, like McGrory the hunter. McGrory was the most sinful of all sinful people. He would kill animals, not kill them. He would shoot them and leave them wounded. Unbelievable cruelty. So Narada Muni came and he thought, oh my God, who is this killing these animals and just leaving them? And so he finds McGrory and he said, what are you doing? Why are you killing? He said, it's what I do, I'm a hunter. My family is a hunter. I was hunters. I've always been a hunter. So Narada Muni said, well, do me a thing, okay? Number one, kill them all the way. Don't have to kill them. There's no need to have to kill them. You're a hunter, just kill them. Right? Just practical point. Right? No need to make them suffer extra. And number two, I want you to chant this mantra, Mara. It means murder. So just chant Mara, 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 Mara. So we all know what happened. Ram, 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 Ram. So this McGrory, who was just like us, killing animals, so simple. We were just stuffing it in, not thinking about it, most of us. But anyway, we were low on the totem pole of spiritual soul. We were not very intelligent, put it that way. So McGrory is given a mantra by Narada Muni. We're given a mantra by Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare.
This is a mantra given to us by the pure devotee who saw us living a very abominable life, just like McGrory. And so by McGrory chanting Mara, Mara, it turns into Ram. So then Lord Brahma came with Narada Muni. Narada Muni said, I want to show you something. So Narada Muni is showing off his preaching expertise. Come with me. He's going to show the potency of the holy name. They came and there were some ants crawling across the path. And McGrory saw them and said, be careful, my lords, don't step on the ants. It's a fact. These things are not made up. These are real. These are real examples of real people who really attain spiritual perfection by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So this Hare Krishna movement, it may take us a while to wake up and realize that we won't be happy until we go back home. Used to be, people say, no. The point being is that we're not saying when. There's no way to know when. That's up to Krishna. But we should know that the wheels are in motion for us now to go back home, back to Godhead. And there's no reason why we can't. Right now, we may not feel qualified, and that's, normal. But the point being is, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He wants us all to go back home, back to Godhead. So there is some mechanism that we're unaware of that is His mystic potency only, which is going to kick in at some point. We may not know when or how. But you heard even, Ajamil. Ajamil blew it his whole lifetime, basically. He blew it. And then he blew it most of his lifetime. But then at the end, just simply because he remembered from his childhood chanting Narayan, and he was chanting the name of his son, because he had chanted it at one point, it came back and he chanted it and he was saved. So it happens, The Lord never lets you forget. But sometimes it's a setup, Like Queen Kunti, of course, she's an eternal associate of the Lord. She goes through all these difficulties to show us. We go through difficulties, we take shelter of Krishna. Prabhupada did that like that. When you have difficulties, you hear prayers of Queen Kunti because she took shelter of Krishna. We should also take shelter in that way. So questions or comments before Gokula gets away from me? I don't want to hear what he has to say. You got to go?
Yeah, I will.
Not feeling well?
Thank you.
Okay, I understand. So,
It's not, I actually have to go see usually on that. So I can be back for a meeting.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
A couple things came to my mind.
Huh?
I understand taste is important, but when I first came, can you hear me?
No, but he can translate.
You said taste is an important aspect. And what I found when I first came to the movement, I could see it was my home. I was outside New York City, and you could see how the modes were there and how all this pollution, noise pollution, air pollution. It was like, oh my God, this is not a nice place. But immediately when I went inside 55th Street, I could see I was back at my home because devotees, that's what I was trying to tell you. Association of devotees, like,
Yeah.
I forget his name, but he was welcoming me. Welcome. And it's like,
Exactly.
and then if he had questions, I remember the devotees, they would be very friendly and try to answer your questions.
Exactly.
And the other thing I was thinking about was when you were mentioning about Devaki's sons. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as I recall, they were cursed because they were laughing at Lord.
Yeah, that's the internal pastime. You're right. Yeah, no, they were. But the point being is that question was asked during her prayers, why Krishna didn't say, but so the point was being made by Srila Prabhupada. I was just repeating his point, that because she was totally dependent on the Lord,
that's the point.
she didn't have anybody to take care of her. That was just to emphasize that point. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Krishna consciousness is actually the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful equation because, just look at it. The material world is really, really a dark, deep well. And then out of that, comes this incredibly spiritual, renaissance of where people who are ordinary conditioned souls, the Lord enjoys seeing these ordinary conditioned souls become vibrant, spiritually happy, intelligent creatures who can again, it's like when Dhruva Maharaj first saw Krishna, he didn't know how to pray. So Krishna put his conch shell on his head, and then Dhruva Maharaj could speak eloquently. So right now, we may be in a transition period, but there will come a time where we interact with Srimati Radharani, it's in ecstasy. There are acharyas now who are showing up. They're speaking with the deities now. Prabhupada spoke with them, undoubtedly. So it's like we don't take it cheaply. It doesn't turn into this cheap, thing. But it does gradually develop in a spiritual movement, like when you read the life of Ramanujacharya. You ever read that book? Have you read the life of Ramanujacharya? Yeah, you got that book. It's incredible in there. It's not long, it's a small book. The devotees always consulted the deities. And the pujari would go and talk to the deities, the deity would tell them. So, I mean, that's the best system of management, is when Krishna is managing. And so we have to gradually evolve. The Hare Krishna movement will gradually evolve until it will be a golden age. In that golden age, Krishna consciousness souls will be born following the proper samskaras, and people will take birth in an elevated consciousness, and they will be eternal servants of the Lord. So, I mean, Kunti will appear in her own way. All of these great associates of the Lord, they appear in unlimited number of souls, and they appear, and we become part of that entourage. Unless you think we want to go back and take birth as a karmi again. No, who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. We finished with that, right? So we just have to know this is there's no getting off now. This is it. We are going to be Hare Krishnas eternally. So we might as well go ahead and like I think sometimes, might as well just go ahead and just really go for it. Just go ahead. Take the plunge. Take everything. It's like Mother was saying, on the battlefield, she couldn't understand how other people could hear. I had no doubt in my mind, they're having transcendental television going to Sanjaya. So, I mean, like, yeah, there may have been some arrangement, but it's like, of course everyone can hear. Because this is Srimad Bhagavad Gita being spoken, and they're all part of the play. So everyone's hearing, everyone's listening. This is a big show. It's like right now, if Krishna was going to give class, you think everybody would be listening? So this battlefield class given by the Lord is eternal. It's the Bhagavad Gita is being spoken. So, can imagine the ecstasy. They know, everyone knows, and you're there, and Krishna's speaking Bhagavad Gita. And you're hearing, it's a song, Krishna's singing. And it's going on, you're like in this ecstatic mood of hearing this song, and you're hearing it and understanding it and congealing it. Even though you've heard it 1,000,000 times, you want to hear it another 1,000,000. Reality. This is not reality. The material energy is not reality. It is a dumbed down facsimile of the spiritual world. The real reality is always in interacting with Krishna in our eternal Leela. It's a fact. It may take us a while to get there, but I promise you, might as well just go ahead. Like I asked Mother yesterday, what would she do if she, felt like she had to, end with me or whatever. And she said, well, first thing I do is give everything away. Start giving them. It's funny, Like people think, I'll just give my house, give my car, give it all this stuff, just become nothing, have nothing. So it's funny, like, but, I think the main thing to realize is that we have to have complete faith, complete confidence. We have to be completely cognitive of Krishna is the absolute truth, and I'm a spirit. This is my path. This is my role. This is what I do. I'm not going to quit. Like one day it doesn't become dull. Like yesterday we were here, and the kirtan was kind of like, it just wasn't getting it, right? And I was feeling kind of blasé myself, and I'm doing RT. And then I realized, what did Prabhupada go through for me? What did Prabhupada do for me? He gave so much energy, and here I am dull-headed. Wake up! Then I was ready to go again. Anytime we start feeling a little bit blasé, a little bit like, oh, this is normal, this is all Hare Krishna, I've been doing it my whole life, blah, blah, blah. You remember what Srila Prabhupada, what he went through for us, to have this chance, this opportunity to get out of this eternal cycle of birth. We can go through this 1,000,000,000 times if we're not careful. We've got to get out now. We've got to take it now. And that's what we have to think every day, every second. Like every day, just like there's an old saying in the country, pick it up a notch. Because there's this crank in the machinery where you pull it and catch another knot. When you have a cable, you catch another notch on the wheel. So it says every now and then take it up a notch. So every now and then become a little bit more enthusiastic. Don't think, hey, I'm going to get to a point and I'm going to go do my thing. This is your thing. You're not going back out and do something. This is what you do. You're going to surrender everything to Krishna. That's what you have to come to that mindset. No more in between. It's all, everything. There's no choice. And it pays off, doesn't it? You become happy. You become free. You have so much happiness. Prabhupada pointing out, no one can understand the happiness like the Goswamis were living underneath the tree. They'd given up all their wealth. They were very wealthy people. Malik said, tons of money. They gave it all away. They're living under the tree. And people, and Prabhupada said, people could not understand how happy they are because of the taste they're getting. And so they say like that, the touchstone, they had the touchstone, I don't want. I have something greater. So the happiness that we get from devotional service, it can't be compared to anything material. It's just too great. So it's just a matter of being intelligent, being smart. Do you want to settle for this little in-between, mode of goodness, maybe situation? Or do you want to taste what the Goswamis are tasting? Eternal spiritual ecstasy, millions of times greater than any happiness in the material world. Which do we want? And that decision has to be made in here. And it has to really be made. We have to make that decision. And that decision, I encourage you, I tell you, if you make the decision to follow Srila Prabhupada and give everything, like Prabhupada talked about Bhakti when he was taking sannyas. He said, suppose you take to this and your sannyas, it's not all you thought it was. What's one lifetime? Suppose we surrender everything to Krishna now. And we think, oh, I wish I became a doctor or whatever. What's one lifetime? You develop so much good karma, so much good credit, but it's not real. It's not going to be like that. What's going to be is if we surrender everything to Krishna, we're going to become ecstatic lovers of Krishna. We're going to be like a madman, always seeking out the lotus feet, the honey, the sweet nectar of the Lord. And all this burden you've had, all this hard work, and all these bad days and fightings and stuff, it's all like a nightmare, Srila Prabhupada said. Srila Prabhupada, keep
Jai.